guess I have no choice, my friends. Well, welcome. Today I'm gonna review this terror of my childhood. This game that really cemented it and really made a negative reputation of my past, and it still is today. Batman Forever. So, let's go to review, my friend. For you, my friends. Let's get to it. Greetings. Today I'm gonna review this infamous game that most people do remember it, and it's based on the movie Batman Forever. It is one of the bad games, one of the not very good games at all, sincerely. As I mentioned, based on the movie Batman Forever, which is a movie that it's okay, it's not the greatest movie. It was nowhere near as amazing as Tim Burton's movie Batman and Batman Returns, which are amazing masterpiece. This one was not made by Tim Burton, it was made by another director, so but I'm not gonna review the movie since my backgrounds are in games, not movies, but I can tell the movie is not that great, and I didn't, it's just kind of generic, but at least it's better than Batman and Robin, which was the worst, which came out in 1988. That was the worst for sure. Anyways, so why I despise or just dislike this game so much, and I still do that to this day? Well, I'll tell the story. As I mentioned in the video, I did play the original NES Batman, Batman Returns on the SNES, and the NES version of Batman Returns, and Batman The Returns of the Joker. Those are the games I used to play, and of course my buddies. For those who had the Genesis, I saw the Batman on the Genesis, which was a masterpiece, and the revolutionary and glorious Batman the Animated Series or the Adventure series on the Genesis, with the glorious music of Jesper Kid, which is the composer of Saturina. I saw it, and it was a technological marvel in the Genesis. Batman games were always good. I wonder why these games are so much better than Superman. Which is strange, isn't it? Anyways, then you got this game based on that movie. It was hype, alright? People want to play the next installment Batman. They already made Batman was platformer, beat 'em up, it was all everything, but looks like not the. Well, tell something important. You think it was made by Acclaim? The answer is a big old nope. It was made by Probe. Probe made the game. Probe made some of the games on the Sega Genesis, obviously, this is the main background, but today, they also made SNES games, but today they decided to make a Batman game. Well, the game has a suspicious, well, as soon you start to play the game, you notice that the sprites, so what they did, well, they rip off Mortal Kombat. Yes. What they did is They digitize the sprites. They use the move list, all the move sets, and slap it on this game with the Batman characters. It's the same thing. It's just they literally took a fighting game and put it on a side-scroller platform or beat 'em up, since it's a mix. As a result, when you play those characters, between the differences you can tell. For fighting it, it's okay when you punch, you let the character stand up. Well, on platform, it's pretty much the opposite. It will take longer to defeat the enemies, so you have to be closer. Which is, some people don't like it. They just don't like that approach, which is understandable why. And the second problem they had again is the aesthetic. We know that some sprites are not that great. It's just some look nice, some that look more or less, and some that look ugly as hell. Took the Robin sprite. It's one of the worst. Robin plays like this, like that. You will see in the game what I mean. The other problem that I noticed of the game is it's not appealing to look at. What they did is they shamelessly had to follow in the same formula of Donkey Kong Country, which, by the way, I recommend Donkey Kong Country. In fact, you should definitely watch the Donkey Kong Country Jungle Green edition that I made a while back. I will leave a couple links, or the notification icon you see up on my head if you notice it that I mentioned. Well, if you haven't seen it, pause the video and watch the trilogy or the Donkey Kong 64. Anyway, back to the video. So, in result, it is. So what they did is really lazy. They just simply they had to talk off what sculptures were made with Acclaim, and they slap it on this game, which is not good way. They don't really use crit. They just simply slap the game in. That's it. The foreground, the background, same thing with Donkey Kong. All they did is they found some logic on the graph background, digitize it, and slap it in the background. Even the foreground. Speaking of the foreground, normally the foreground looks gorgeous. In the Donkey Kong, looks gorgeous and amazing. On this game, it just don't look They don't look appealing. And sometimes when you fight the enemies, the foreground can block you, which is it's in your way. You want to fight it, but you can't see it because of the foreground. And sometimes there's foreground they don't tell to jump off on the platform, which is kind of annoying and gets a stress on my nerves. Me, I don't have problem with that since I can immediately notice the whole it. Well, since I already played this game, but some do have that complaint for sure. So yeah. Another thing I told is the setting. Obviously, they follow the movie pretty decently, but not a whole lot. The gameplay is, I hate to say this, it's quite boring. It's not fun at all. It doesn't feel satisfied to play. Unlike the previous game, Batman Returns, or the glorious Batman The Adventure Animated Series for the Sega Genesis, which is a heck of a lot fun than this one, sincerely. And it came out before, well, Batman The Adventure came out months before this game. It came out the same year, 1985, only months before this game. And Returns came out in 1993, and the NES version surpassed it. So it is quite amazing that those games are much better than this one. Surprisingly. Like I mentioned, the gameplay is just boring, unappealing, it's just not satisfying at all. You just punch enemy and destroy enemy, defeat this, get this enemy, think this and this, that. It gets all real fast. And by the time you pass the second stage, you already move on. You're already playing, like, I don't know, another game that is hot, such as you ended up playing Donkey Kong Country in 1995, which is a better option, sarcastically. So it is amazing, sincerely, and not for much of the things, of course. So it is. And that's the characters. Obviously, you play as Batman and Robin, and you have to defeat some enemies, such as you see in the character. You see there is Two-Face, and of course you see the what's they call the character? Jesus, I forgot the name. I'll put the name of the character. Gosh, why now I have to forget the name? Jesus. Even I don't, and sorry my friends, even I know I'm a huge into the Batman series, but almost forgot the names. Well, not all of them, but this is the character that really, by the way, a little trivia. The actor, Jim Carrey, this actor, Tommy Lee Jones, the one act. Jim Carrey makes a lot of movies, and Tommy Lee Jones makes the obviously Man in Black, which I'll get in a bit. So you see these actors slowly. Well, all the villains are there. There is a fighting mode in this game, but compared to Mortal Kombat 2 and the now released Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, it pales in comparison. Heck, that's the same year that the core of Killer Instinct came out, which are a heck of a lot of fun. So it has a fighting game, but it sucks. It's just boring, just punch once again. It's not. It gets harder over time, but it's just not fun at all. It has a multiplayer, but who wanna play with this game with your buddy? It gets bored, and after a while you play much better games for sure. And I'm telling it because it is. As a result, the game is just mediocre at best. But I will say right and true. It is horrible. Not a good game, but it's not the worst SSNES games. I see much worse. Much worse SSNES than that. Shaq Fu, for instance. That game is much worse. And Shaq Fu pales in comparison to this game. This game making a masterpiece aside from Shaq Fu, which I'll review the game soon. And that is a game that I hated it a lot, and I still hated it to this day. That was a game that really tainted my reputation to being horrible. But at least this game, at least it's something sincerely. Anyway, so I need to get this playing. But being warned you, this game is just boring. So I'm gonna play it. But if you get bored after a while, you just simply click on the minute you can see here. So if you wanna skip it and go back to my conclusion, you can do it. I'll put the number or the description to skip it since the gameplay is so boring. So you get the idea. So anyways, I'm gonna put this game to my junior, as you see behind me. Oh, by the way, if you haven't guessed, as you can see behind me, is if you haven't seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Edition you see in the background, which is a amazing looking game, very underrated, you should definitely watch my video that I did a few days ago. So check out the video if you haven't seen it. It is a great, amazing game. And of course, I'm planning to make a gameplay of the game all the way in hard mode, which I'm practicing because I did the same thing with Street Fighter and Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat. Now it's the turn of the Turtles, so I'll do the same thing. Check out the video if you haven't seen it, or I will leave the notification icon you see out there so you can see it, right? So you can enjoy it. Anyways, enough for the exclamations. I'm gonna play this game, and it's gonna be boring, so be prepared. So to the gameplay. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry that the gameplay is insanely long and it's boring. And let me tell you, it was a pain. When I recorded this video, in my head I was like, this is gonna be boring, and I was prepared. So my apologies if you get bored of it and you skip it. So that's why the game is not that great. So what can I say this game? This game, well, it's not as bad as the nerd or everyone else saying. It's just mediocre at best, but it's not as horrible as Jackful or other much worse SSNES games in my opinion. So in my opinion, do I recommend this game? Absolutely. Its answer is depends on you. But for most want to play Batman games or any great game, I will say no. I would suggest to get much better game than this one. I recommend just Batman Returns on the NES or SSNES. Yeah, there's an NES version of Batman Returns. Or get the excellent, amazing, rocking, The Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Genesis. I adore that game. It's just a marvelous film on the Genesis. I recommend that game, which came out the same year as this one, and it's a heck of a lot better than this one. There's the SSNES version by Konami, which is a platform. It is decent, but I prefer the Genesis version, which is much more impressive than the SSNES version. The SSNES is a platform, while the Genesis is all in one. It's just a gorgeous looking, amazing game. So as a result, this game is not that great. I recommend just a huge hard pass of this game and play something else. Yeah, it has a fighting game mode on this game, but that will be nothing if you recommend these. These are much better. If you want a platform that is a better platform game, play Donkey Kong, which is much better in my opinion. Well, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed this video and understand why this game doesn't do very well on the gameplay, as well understood many things in games. The next game I'm gonna review is an infamous title of John Romero that I mentioned before. I won't tell what game it is, but I will see it on the PC. It's a game that everyone hated it, don't like it, and ruined John Romero's reputations. So you will see it in the next occasion. So guys, anyways, until the next time, take care and have a good day. As always, thanks for watching.